everyone. I'm on my way to the airport to pick up my wife, who's been away on vacation this weekend. And I just thought that during this drive might be a good time to talk a little bit about the commands that I use on course to direct my dog around a course in both agility and now SpeedWay. I am not one who uses a lot of individual equipment names. If that works for you, that's great. That is talking way too much for me and exerting an awful lot of energy and oxygen to try to get out all those individual words. I don't tell my dog to jump for individual jumps. But there is no right way or wrong way. There is what works for you. So, my goal when I'm running my dog is for my dog to understand that they take whatever obstacle is in front of them and they do the performance that we've taught them to do on that piece of equipment until I tell them to go in another direction. That works for me, as there are 5 or 6 places on a course where you might need to change your dog's direction or where the dog has a choice to make, versus a 20 obstacle course having 20 different obstacles to tell them to do something, and also then needing to cue them somehow not to take what is obviously in front of them. So the commands that I generally use on course to help give my dog direction are as follows. I use an out command, which is supported by my arm on the side that the dog is on. That tells the dog to move away from me, and that if there happens to be a choice between 2 obstacles, that they are to take the one that is further away from me. That's really useful in wildcard, where you always have the 2 obstacles that are very, very close proximity to each other, and I want my dog to be able to go out to the further one away from me without me necessarily needing to step in. So, out command, and each time I repeat the word out, it should increase the distance that the dog continues to move out. The opposite of out then would be here. Here means come closer to my side. It can be supported by your hand, dropping low and down, which tends to help you drop your shoulder and sort of indicate to the dog to come into you. So those are 2 basic commands for making a decision when there is a choice that is straight ahead of you, and I want the dog to take one or the other. Out for the one further away, here for the one closer to me. And again, each time I say here, the dog should come closer to me. I then have a left and a right command. Left and right are pretty much just like they sound, except for I will explain it a little bit different. Left and right mean take the obstacle that is in front of you, add extension, and turn in the general direction given, and continue in extension. So this would be very useful in, say, a pinwheel. It could be useful in a serpentine, depending upon how wide the serpentine is and the angle of the approach to the serpentine. But it's used for me more of a sweeping motion to continue the dog to extend. My other 2 big turning commands would be zip and dig. Those tell the dog to go take the next obstacle and turn tightly, collected, to the left for zip, to the right for dig. That I use often in a It's a pre-cue in a throttle, or I use it often for snooker. I want you to go take that red jump, and I want you to turn sharply to the left and come back to me so we can get back up to that number 7 weep hole and go for that big 51. So, dig and zip. Zip being to the left, dig to the right, meaning go take the next obstacle, collected, tightly, turn in the direction given. My video yesterday doing some serpentine work, you saw that was a nice way to help with the in command moving into a serpentine, or a throttle, excuse me. So the last part of that dig or zip is once you've turned, collected in the direction, connect with me and look for direction for where to go next. And that direction would generally be from my body. 2 other commands that I do use, directional commands. I use a go, means go straight ahead. Very useful again in going to the table to finish a full house run, going to the finish jump in a snooker or a jackpot, or if there is a just flat out fly in a numbered course and I need my dog to just go ahead without me, the go would tell them to continue to go straight ahead. And I also use a back command. The back command tells my dog to flip away from me. It is basically my command to begin a rear cross in most cases. Again, I think I used that yesterday on the serpentine with both Maylee and Devin when we were going to turn that last jump toward the inside of the serpentine versus turning away. So I was pre-cueing a rear cross before the last jump. So those are the main commands that I use on course. I like to have a command to tell the dog all of the common things that are coming up. So for instance, we have a lot of contact tunnel turns, over the frame into the tunnel, or through the tunnel and onto the dog walk. We use that a whole lot in jackpot and in full house point accumulation games, where you're trying to rack up points. If I have an A-frame and a tunnel and I can do A-frame tunnel, A-frame tunnel, I've gotten myself 16 points rather quickly. So I use wrap. Wrap basically means take whichever obstacle I have directed you to take with your out or here, going into that discrimination. Take that obstacle and turn, flip, and do the other obstacle coming back the other way. I like it because I can actually pre-cue my dog as, say, they're going into a tunnel under the A-frame. So on the approach side of the tunnel, I can give them their command to go in the tunnel. I cue them with a wrap as they're going in the tunnel. The dog has all the time they're in the tunnel to think about that. When they come out of the tunnel, they can turn on their own and come back to me without me needing to go and babysit that turn. The same is true if you have like a really technical numbered course sequence where you're going over the dog walk into a tunnel and then there's something technical afterwards. I like being able to tell my dog as they're doing the dog walk to flip to the tunnel by using my wrap command, and then I can hang back and get ready to handle the next sequence. So that is what I use for the various things. I'm sure I'll think of more, but I just wanted to touch base and give you just some bases, so when you hear me handling my dog and we're discussing things, again, the individual words you use doesn't matter. You can call something anything you want. There's no right or wrong answer. I like my commands as much as possible to be one syllable and something that I can repeat. So if I have a really fast sequence, for me to try to cue my dog into doing a tight turn, the dig, Zip, 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 zip is really, really easy to get out. Left, left, left. It's going to be a more gradual turn. Right, right, right is a more gradual turn. So those are a little bit longer words. I like the dig, 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 the zip, zip, zip. I like wrap, 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 wrap. Because I can, again, start giving that information to the dog. And on the wrap command, they have the distance of a contact or a distance of a tunnel to start thinking about what command I gave them. Remember that when you give your dog a command, you are speaking a foreign language. They need to hear that command. They need to translate that command, and then they need to act on that command. It's one of the reasons why I don't like giving jump commands or individual obstacle commands while the dog is running the course. You see so many people that are giving a jump command and the dog is already actually in the air before they're giving that command. So the timing of individual commands for obstacles to me is much harder, and walking a course using my limited turning commands, I can focus merely on the parts of the course that I need to use those commands and those skills, and I can let my dog flat out run the rest. So that is my basic command structure. Be welcome to share yours with others and your approach to how you handle things. When you're running a sequence, it might be, if you're doing a video, it might be good for you to maybe walk the course and give us what your cues are going to be and what your goal is, what your timing is going to be. The timing of the command is so important. The dog needs that time to react, needs that time to respond, especially when you're in those tighter sequences. A course like a colors course that is intertwined and very technical. The dog needs to know where they're going to be going as early as possible. I like my dog to always know what the next two obstacles are going to be so that they can set their line for each individual sequence. So once my dog can see, for instance, that there's a discrimination coming between a contact and a tunnel, I can start giving my out, 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 or my here, here, here. As soon as I know that their focus is on that particular part of the sequence, and the jumps leading to there or the obstacles leading to there are merely in the way. So that's my approach. I hope that helps you. After I get home, I'm hoping to set up a little bit of a different sequence and do some training again today and get that posted. I really, really want to get this page up and going. I could wait forever, but I think I just need to launch it and let it go. So, have a great day. Get some training in. Think about how you're going to run your dog if it's a newer team. If you're struggling with something, go back, do some videos, evaluate what information you're giving your dog, when you're giving it. Does the dog have time to react? Does the dog understand the task? And let's make it easier for our dogs to be successful by us doing our part as a team captain. Have a great day.